What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This your boy DJ Legacy back right here for episode number 2. You see my boy over here, DJ Heck. I got the pleasure of having him as my co-host today. DJ Heck, say what's up, baby.
What up, what up?
Glad to have you back again as the co-host this time.
Glad to be back, man.
They said you did such a good time on the first one, I had to bring you back for the second one.
Oh, I got more to say.
I know you do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I got the pleasure of the second episode bringing in somebody who's a staple in the industry, a pioneer, one of the greats, Mr. Just walk in. I'm not even gonna say nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Jammin Freakin J. Ladies and gentlemen, come on now. That's where the sound effects come in.
What up?
Jay, what's up, man?
Man, what's up,
brother?
How you doing,
I hit you up 2 weeks ago. We were supposed to do it last week. Didn't get around to it.
Man, we all got them hectic schedules.
Oh man, no, shit's crazy, man. Shit's crazy, especially with our schedules.
It's a good problem to have, though.
No, it definitely is.
That's what I'm saying. It's good to be working.
Jay, thank you for being here, man. Like I said, I wanted to bring you on because this podcast is about living your legacy, right? Everything that you've been doing, especially being, like I said, a pioneer in the game, one of the greats out of everybody who's been in the game for so long. I had to bring you on, man. So it's an honor to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Especially for the second episode to follow up something that we were talking about, 2 weeks ago.
Cool, man.
So I appreciate it,
man.
I definitely appreciate it. Jay, for the younger crowd that doesn't know you, introduce yourself, my man.
My name is, so back in the day, I started out as Jammin J. All right, then there were so many other Jammin J's that I didn't even know about that were out there, and everybody.
Jamming everything, though,
everybody,
to be fair.
yeah, there was a lot of other people that were coming out as Jammin J, so I was like, you know what, I'm switching. They were like, yo, put this in there, Jammin Freakin J.
Yeah.
So I added that, and kind of changed it up from there on, and just went with the whole idea at that time. When I added that, it was the crunk was in. You know what I mean? It was a crunk scene.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I gotta just run with the flow, and I just came out with. I was like, yo, I'm gonna just call my show. I was on the radio at the time. I was like, I'm gonna just roll with the crunk show.
Yeah.
So I just roll with that. It's been going on. Time kept going, and still now it's the talk show.
I seen that. Now, just to kind of get into it and dive right in, right? Because it's all about everything that you've already, been doing to kind of set the standard and kind of open up doors for DJs like us, right? Especially for me, right? You've definitely been somebody who I've looked up to. I didn't touch on this on the last episode, but we didn't bring up, who do we look up to? Who were we listening to on the radio? Because obviously when you started out or when you were on the radio, I was probably like 9.
You were probably still in elementary school.
Yeah, yeah, I was.
Which is funny because what you said earlier, talking to the younger DJs that don't know who Jammin J is, or Jammin Freakin J, my bad. This is somebody that, if you don't know him, your parents probably know him because he's been rocking the club since 1985.
Exactly.
So it's still doing it, still going strong, still killing the game, still one of the best venues in Houston. The guy has not slowed down at all.
At all. And Jay, just to kind of put it out there, let's go ahead and let you talk your shit, Jay. For those who don't know, and for those, because I noticed last time that we do have a younger crowd that look at this, and we do have an older crowd that have been peep game. Just throw it out there. Throw the list. Throw the list of the venues, the clubs, the radio stations that you've done. Just throw it out there. Talk your shit.
Well, I mean, when I first began, I was just, I wasn't just in my garage. I just got a set of turntables in my garage, and this was back in the days. My phone's going off here now, and
it's okay. You can have yours loud.
So I was, I began, man, and the first party I did was my sister's birthday party in our basement. So I did that, and that was kind of like the first thing. I had a cassette player, and I had a belt drive turntable on one side. I was going back and forth, just having fun, whatever. And then from there, this was back when I lived in Pennsylvania. I used to live over there, and then I came back to Houston. When I did, that was kind of like when they were like, you need to start doing mobile parties over here and stuff like that. So that was a new scene for me, and I just kind of like hung out with my brother and his friends with the Los Magnificos car club and stuff like that. And I used to DJ for them, like at their car shows. So I would go and just play music for them. And, at the car show, other, car clubs would bring their DJs or whatever, so I would be out there early in the morning, whatever. Another DJ would come up. So I met another DJ that was out there. His name was Leonard Pumpin' Perez.
We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get
So
to
I met him, and he introduced me. Well, he introduced himself, and at that time, my name was DJ Class. This was like way earlier.
DJ Class?
DJ Class. So I'm there and I'm DJing, I'm partying, I'm throwing down whatever. And he was like, man, you're fucking jamming, bro. He was like, you need to be fucking Jammin J, dog. I was like, no shit, Jammin J. I was like, all right, well shit, I'm gonna roll with it. So from then on, that's how Jammin J came about.
So, okay.
But hey, on real quick, at that time, because I think now the whole jamming thing, it's got diluted with so many DJs.
Yeah,
was
so
that like that back in the day, or you caught it early on?
At that time, the only other jamming that I knew was Jammin' Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah,
you know, and you know he was on the radio, but I
know
didn't
him
even
'cause
think
my
about
dad.
that because I just knew him as Jimmy Olsen, you know.
Yeah.
But that was his thing. So, and it wasn't even because of that. It was because like I said, you know, Leonard Pumpin' Perez came and said, "Yo, you should be Jammin J." And this was actually before.
What year was this?
This was actually before Jammin' Jimmy Olsen because I remember the box came on afterwards in those days, dog. So yeah.
But what year was this?
This was back early.
What, you started mid-'80s?
No. At that time, it was like around 89.
Oh, man. Okay.
89.
Okay. So I wanted to touch on this, Heck. So this is a story that a lot of people don't know, right? So Leonard Pumpin' Perez was my biological father. Kind of came up in the DJ thing, right? It's kind of just been in the blood. So yeah, so
And
I don't know.
he was like the DJ back in the day from the north side. You know what I mean? He had it locked down over there at the Players Club, and that's when he was like, "Yo, you need to come see me at the club, man. Come over there and hang out and spin a little bit." So he invited me out, and that was the first club I ever went to.
What the Players?
The Players Club.
God, where was that at?
That was right there off of Sylvester and Fulton.
Okay.
Right
Jesus,
there.
now it's
I think
way
it's
different.
I think it's a car lot now. Yeah.
But a lot of people didn't know that. And one day,
That's history right there.
yeah, one day when we're just talking, and he's like, "Bro, you know, Leonard kind of took 2 and 2," and I was like, "Yeah, man. Like, you know, my dad was a DJ." He was like, "Well, who was your dad?" And I was like, "Leonard." They used to call him Leonard Pumpin' Perez. He was like, "Bro, what the fuck? Like, no fucking way." He was like, "Bro, small world." Like, I knew your dad. And then when he told me that, he gave him that, you know, kind of threw that name suggestion in there. I was like, God damn, that's some history. That really is some history.
So then from there on, that was like the first club that I played at. And then, you know, from there on, it was a Club Vogue's in Northside, right there on Irvington Boulevard.
Oh, okay.
It's it was right across from the taqueria that was right there by where Los Globos used to be. I forgot. I'm naming all these places, and I think
I'm
that
from the
place
north side,
is a venue now.
I got
I'm not from the north side, so you guys are losing me all over the place.
This is like on Irvington. I mean, anybody who's from north side on Irvington Boulevard, yeah. Ask your mom and dad about Los Globos back in the day. It was right there across the street. Club Vogues.
Kids.
So the owner there, he was a real Madonna fan. That's why he named it Vogues.
Oh, okay.
So that was the thing back like in the 90s.
And what was that vibe
90s.
like?
Bro, that was...
What was that vibe?
whole-
I kind of want to just get the inside of
well,
back then.
being that it was from north side, it dude for sure was Tejano, but it had the big club scene at the time, which was the hot Latin freestyle and, you know, and all the old hip hop and the classic stuff like that.
So
That was it.
in that era, was Tejano more? Because I know you dabbled in a lot of different scenes, right? I know you were a hip hop DJ at one point, or you were a Tejano DJ, or not saying you were labeled as one thing, but you've been in all these different things. Like now you play at a country club.
Yeah.
So at that time, was there a slow transition to was there a change of scenery, or how did you go from Tejano to hip hop to country or to?
And that time.
And you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, man. At first, I didn't play no Tejano music. When I came back to Texas, you know, from Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
I didn't know about it. My friends were telling me that from high school. They were like, "Yo, you got to start playing some Tejano music, some Chicano music, you know what I mean? At that time, it was La Mafia, Old School Mas, and stuff like that. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I started getting all these music and all these records and stuff like that, you know. But I mean, I remember all, you know, the old school, like Selena when she first came to the Astroworld and stuff like that, you know. So I remembered all it. But I just never knew that they would play that at the house parties and, you know, or even weddings and stuff like that. So
like at an actual party,
yeah,
like, you know, you thought it was just something that people listened to in
that
the
was
car.
That was something else I had to incorporate, you know, while I was out playing, because I had all the dance records, I had all the freestyle records, I had all the hip hop records, but I didn't have the Spanish.
Were you playing Tejano and freestyle at the same time in that?
It was just like a, you know, like a program, like a show, man. You just really go on and go with the flow. Once you kind of fade out from something, you just go to the next. Just keep the movement going.
Yeah,
you know?
I want to know what was your shit. What was your shit? What was the records that you like to either dig for? Because we're saying records like actual records, actual crates.
Well,
so.
Back in the days when I was growing up, we used to have some good radio stations here. Man, I remember Energy 96.5.
Touch on that, yeah.
That was like the hottest dance radio station. If you remember House Party back when it first started, the House Party 100.7. They were a hot, you know, rhythmic dance station, playing all the hot dance stuff, all the Latin freestyle, all the fresh house music stuff. That was Energy 96.5 back in the days. That was like back when New Order and shit was out and fucking Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody knows about that, but yo, check it out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, research, digging them crates.
That was it. The hot 80s, 90s scene, the dance scene right there back then. And that was just my thing, house music. It was like, that was just made me want to DJ, you know, and get into that. Because at first DJ I heard of was Cut Creator and Jam Master J, you know? Yeah. You know, and that's when, you know, it's like Peter Piper came out. Boom, I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Man, I remember getting on the turntable in the living room of my mom's house, and my dad had just got a turntable with the whole system set up and everything, cassette deck. I just get on there and just
testing.
Just is this what it feels like, you know?
Yeah. Now, did you
fresh touch on it?
The first time you kind of like experienced DJs or DJing, was it something that you heard or was it something that you saw?
No, it was something that I heard. It was definitely because my brother was jamming fucking Beastie Boys and fucking Run DMC in his truck, going to fucking school and shit. Yeah. You know?
So there would be that break whenever you would hear that or that.
It was just that movement, that sound.
And then you just said, fuck it, that's what I want to do.
That was it. That was from then on. I just had interest in it. And then at that time, too, my dad was a musician, you know. So he had all the equipment, all the sound system, the speakers, the mixer, the microphones, everything, cassette deck, so I can plug in, record mixtapes and stuff like that. And I just plugged it up at my house. I had it. I don't know anybody else who was 14 years old with the fucking whole sound system in the room. You know what I mean?
Hey, but hold on, break it down. How much equipment just to do all that did you have to have? Rather than now just pressing
you know what?
record in Serato.
Back in the day, my dad had a PV 800 mixer. It was the new one with the EQ on it and everything like that. It was 8-channel. He had that. He had just got a turntable. He had just got the preamp to plug into the mixer on the mixing board. So I learned that. I was like, I need this preamp. This preamp makes
a lot of the new DJs watching this are probably like, what the hell is he talking about?
I was learning, you know, how to plug it in.
You don't know how easy
you
like got that. It.
So now I did that, you know, and I started recording mixtapes and stuff like that inside my room. I give them to my friends at school and stuff like that. Probably a couple people out there that still have a couple mixtapes, you know.
Some people have the CDs with the marker.
No, this not the CDs yet. We ain't got to the CD. I'm still talking cassette.
Hold on.
I'm still talking cassettes here. Yeah. So I did that, and I gave them to friends and stuff like that. That's how I just kind of just had more interest in doing that, you know.
Yeah.
You know, once I plugged in a cassette deck, and then I started fiddling around with the wires. I unplugged a little bit, left a little bit stuck where it just kind of phased out. I was like, sounds like the vocals came out. I started phasing out songs, you know, and trying to, you know, hearing this where I guess the way they mastered it or whatever.
Yeah. The
vocals were like blended, split. So if you unplug one side, you heard the main vocal, but you heard the echo on the other side. You know what I mean? So so it's like I figured that out, and I was like, oh, okay. So I was like just messing around doing stuff, you know, doing my own stuff.
But do you think that was like because I always hear things like on cassettes or even records or anything. Do you think that doing all that, right, even though you had to do a shitload of stuff just to make one sound good, it was coming out natural? Do you like that sound? Like it's like, right? It's a different feeling that comes out.
It was. Back in those days, I mean, it was. I was just beginning. I was learning. I was. It was the first time I ever heard myself on the headphones. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you ever did that, but like when you're talking, like we're talking right here right now. But if you ever had headphones on when you're on the radio and stuff like that, and you hear yourself on the headphones, you're like you kind of like slow down and stutter on yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just all
I've done
natural
it.
and stuff like that.
Well, hold on. Let's kind of transition into that. You know, talking about radio. You've also done radio, not only just nightclubs, but you've been doing radio for many years, or have been. How did you get into that to begin with, from nightclubs to radio?
Well, it goes back to the days of me DJing at the beginning, and I remember I was DJing. I had got a gig over at this place called Tejano Live Wire. Excuse me. Cut that. So I met homie Marco over there. He was the DJ at the time.
Big shout out, homie
weekends.
Marco.
Yeah, shout out.
So I went in there and I met him, and he was DJing. I was listening to him, and then whatever, he was like, "Hey man, get on, whatever." You know, we jumped on, whatever. I jumped on. I was playing in there. He was like, "Oh damn, you sound fucking bad, bro. You getting down, you know?
You jamming?"
Yeah, he was like, "You jamming, dude? You
Jamming,
like,
Jay?"
So we hit it off, and we became friends, dude. We were like fucking inseparable. We were doing all these clubs and stuff like that. From there, we went on and did like the Island Club. We did Zaz. We did fucking El Dorado. You know, all these clubs and stuff like that. When back in the days when they were just starting out, and he had a show on the radio.
Now, what year is this? What year is this era right here?
This is like 91, 92, and you know, back in those years. And he was on the radio at the time.
So this is already 10 years after you already.
Yeah,
like
this is
9, 10 years
I'm slowly, you know, getting out, you know, to the clubs, the bigger clubs now.
and radio.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is where it goes into the radio.
Did
This is
radio
where it
help
goes.
you elevate like your DJ career, or you feel like it was just an added tool in the bag?
Man, you know what? I was just about to get into the story right now, how the radio thing happened, because homie was on the radio already, and he had a weekend show where he did a live mix show for like 4 hours, and he invited me to go DJ and play some music on there, and that's how it began. From then on, we got club gigs and stuff like that. I was able to go into the different clubs and stuff like that. So back to your question.
My original question, like, how did you transition into radio?
Yes, yeah. That's he was the one that actually pulled me into the radio, and I got to meet everybody that worked at radio stations and how it
Because
worked.
you have pictures galore with everybody. I mean, you did
Well,
many
I mean,
years
the
of
people
radio,
that I
didn't
was
you?
able to run into, yeah. I mean, so I met quite a few people. It was fun. I mean, I've seen the radio scene back in the days.
But even on the radio, going back to like, you know, how many different parties or how many different clubs you did, even on the radio, you did the Hano stations, you did top 40 stations, you did hip hop stations.
Did Latin
kind of touch
station.
on that a little bit. I mean, what would you say? What was the first radio station that you did? It was,
the first radio station was actually with
dance,
homie. He was on Kakukuka. He was on Kakukuka. And then this is when it was like stereo laser, you know what I mean? 106.5 and stuff like that. So
Still got the voice.
right,
Still got the voice.
That's never gonna go away.
So and then, you know, we did that. So then as I met people and stuff like that, you know, a position came open when Super Tejano 108 came on. And they had this big old boombox truck, and they needed somebody to drive it. And at that time, when I was when I was hanging out over at Kakukuka, I met Rudy the Flash. You know, rest in peace, Rudy the Flash. I met him, and we became buddies. We hit it off, man. He was from Falfurrias, Texas. Came over here. He moved from Falfurrias to come to Houston to work. And the first night he came, that's when I met him. We hung out. We were friends from day one when he came. So we were friends, and he was working at the station. And when he left Kakukuka and went to Super Tejano 108, he was like, dude, they need a driver for the truck. He was like, you want to come do it? And he was like, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, hell yeah. So I went and did that. And, you know, and while I was in there, able to go inside the office and meet people and stuff, driving this truck, you know, at these places where I'm driving into, I was able to, you know, the position came open, you know, for overnight, you know. They were like, hey, would you be interested in, you know, like working overnights on the weekends or something like that on the radio?
And this was on air.
On this was Super Tejano 108.
But like to do mix shows, or what were you doing
this
exactly?
was just on air.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's just talking, you know, nothing like that. The mixing thing didn't happen till a few years later when there was clubs came on and stuff like that, and I was able to go in and do that live.
So
on the
even
radio.
when you were at Kakukuka and Super Tejano, like you were just what? you were playing music?
Yeah, no, I was just on air. I was just on air personality. And then when the mix show came open on the afternoon, somehow they opened up because they didn't ever do the 5 o'clock traffic jam before. They used to do it just featured just on Fridays, and then it became an everyday thing, you know. So yeah, that's how it all began. Doing it once on Friday on the weekend, just kick off the weekend, did the 5 o'clock mix, and that was it. That was the only
Were there any
show
live broadcasts?
Yeah, there were a lot of live broadcasts.
That's what I thought, because I mean, I'm telling you, man, I don't know if I sent you this picture, but I have a CD. The Kakukuka came out with like 1 or 2 CDs. They might have came out with more, but I have it.
There was 2 of them.
There's 2 of them. Yeah. Okay. So I have both of them. But yeah. So what were some of the
picture?
What were some of the places that they did those live Tejano broadcasts back then?
Man, we would do live concerts from like El Dorado Ranch. During those days, we do was out in Alameda Mall.
That's Southside.
That's South.
I had to throw some Southside out there.
Yeah.
So they would do the unplugged concerts there, and they would do them like at I can't remember. I think they did them at Hullabaloo.
Hey, shout out Hullabaloo.
T-Town
Hey, kids. For those of you. Ask your parents about Hullabaloo's in El Dorado.
That's Southside too, by the way.
You was conceived in the parking lot out there. So. But yeah, so I was able to do all those clubs, man. Like I said, it was a Players Club. I remember Island Club. Remember Club Zaz. When Zaz opened up live on the radio that first time they opened, I was able to DJ in there for a set because I was with Marco and stuff. Came in there, talked on the mic, got on the wheels, still on live on the radio. You know what I mean? It was fun, man. And from Zaz, it was the Island Club. What was that place? Some other place over in Northside where before it was Chocolate City or something like that.
This is still 80s, 90s, right?
I think it was called Park Avenue or something like that. I did that one for them because they were the same owners as the Island Club. Then it was just, moving on. You asked me about any other club, I probably remember, but trying to remember them all. No.
Is this still 90s?
So that was still, during the Tejano scene. Then, once I worked at Kakukan Super Tejano 108, I was able to work over at 100.7 House Party, and they were a Tejano station like from 12 noon till 6 p.m. And then they were like a house party station from 6 all the way till 6 in the morning.
That's the one that I kind of remember.
So,
now.
Homie was over there at the time working there, and he was running it. So he was like, yo, come on over here. So I went over there, and I was able to go over there and not only be on air, but do more mixing live and stuff like that during the week.
Which is what you
wanted
wanted to do, I assume,
Yeah,
right?
what I did, yeah. So I was able to do that, and that led me into the hip-hop clubs now. I was going into the hip-hop clubs. So at that time, it was already, the downtown scene was popping already.
But were you trying to get into that scene, or it kind of just happened that way?
Bro, I gotta go with the flow. If I'm gonna survive in this industry, I gotta stay up with what's going on. What's going on.
So you were just adapting with the times.
Yeah, that was it. At Super Tejano 108, I was, wearing button-up shirts and stuff like that. When I was working at House Party, I was able to wear jerseys and stuff like that. And
give me a little rundown. For those who don't know, give me a little rundown about how that transition was from the, I'm not even going from the Tejano scene to the hip hop scene, but how were the vibes back then? Like, when you were DJing a party, what was it like, dude? Because I can imagine.
It was like, you would walk in a club and people are dancing. People were dancing. You didn't see nobody sitting at the table. If you did, you was somebody that was single, waiting for somebody to be asked to dance or whatever. But everybody was dancing.
And bottle service wasn't a thing back then, right?
No, you didn't see flashing lights or nothing like that coming to the table. Or nothing like that. No sparklers. I don't think that was allowed.
Imagine pulling out your.
Even though you were able to smoke in the club back in the day, but yeah, they danced.
So I noticed. I don't know about you, but I noticed the whole dance floor trend went away. 2015, 2016. That's when I started to see more of like the whole bottle culture thing. So obviously you've been doing it since mid 80s till still today. Yeah. What's been the biggest drastic change that you've seen from back then till now? What's the good? What's the bad? What's the ugly?
Like I said, man, that during and while I was working at House Party, working at the Roxy, that's when I remember bottle service.
What year was this?
Shout out Roxy.
This was probably in the early 2000, Y2K type, when I was working with them. That's when the House Party turned to Party 1049. So that's another one.
Hey,
That-
if you
that's
haven't
where-
heard,
that's where-
if you heard,
That's where I remember listening to you, as a kid, riding,
Yeah.
backseat of mom's car.
Party 104.9.
Jammin J
At 7 o'clock. That was the joint. You know what I mean?
on the Party 104.9.
Do you still have that intro somewhere?
I still have it. I'm
We're probably
put
gonna have
it
to use
on
that soundtrack for the
for his
intro.
intro.
Well, the
Yeah,
intro,
that's what I
okay.
said. That's why I left that. I know what I'm doing.
Shout out to Baby Bash. Baby, and you know what? That was cool because I was working at House Party 104.9, and I came cool with Baby Bash. And I was always trying to get people
Shout out
trying
Bash.
to make intros and stuff like that. But it was just people that I guess that kind of just felt comfortable kicking it with me and stuff like that. So me and Bash hit it off, and the probably only reason why I was feeling both like to smoke and shit.
Yeah.
But so he was like, "Yeah, I want to make an intro for you." He invited me to the studio when he's recording all his albums and stuff. He was like, "Come to the studio. I'm gonna record your intro." So he would get songs off of his album and just record intros on them. And I got like 2 or 3 of them that he did from his albums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so he would record these intros, and that's how I just, he
Was that on his when
I
his
would push
debut
him
album was coming out?
Yeah, that was when like before Sugar Sugar and all that.
Oh,
So then Sugar Sugar came out, and then it was like boom.
yeah.
So that's how I got.
Jay, how
Bash
many
to my
how many drops do you have?
intros.
How many
man.
artist drops do you have, Jay?
Let's see. Shout out to all the artists that really took the time to make those drops, because it is hard for those artists when they come in and they got tight schedules, and it's like you try to get them to do a drop and be like, and
How would you go at them?
But I got quite a few. I got one from Snoop Dogg.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I actually never heard that one.
Hey, speaking of drops, actually, if you've ever heard me DJ in the club, Jay is actually the one that did my drop, and it's almost like a staple. It ain't going nowhere.
Actually, I think a few DJs have a couple of drops from Jammin J.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? And that's what I like to do. I like to share my voice. You know what I mean? Especially for all these younger cats. You know what I mean? Looking for those DJ drops. One of these days, I'm gonna get on my TikTok and I'm gonna just go live and just record drops. Put your script on the thing, and I'm gonna just.
I think
read
you
it
did
and
something like that
record
during
drops. I
COVID, but
did
it was
that
like a
during
Facebook
COVID.
Live thing.
Yeah,
I
did that
remember
during
that.
COVID.
Now, Jay, going back on the Party 104.9, was that your first actual mix show? What was like, or when did you really become that personality DJ and kind of like face to where like, oh shit, all right, now to where like you feel like this is my shit, like.
I think it was during the house party days on Party 104.9, because my shift then was from 7 to midnight, and that was the hot what would you call it, time shift.
Yeah.
During that time, that was when Big Pimp and Jay-Z came out. You know what I mean? But in those days, yeah, it was hard. I was able to hold #1 spot for the teens. But as far as like the older demo and stuff like that, that was somebody else. But I was able to hold #1 spot at least, for a good while.
Well, I mean, if you got your own, I always felt like if you got your own intro, theme song, everything, hey.
Yeah, I got
We
Josh
made
and
it.
Lil Jon too. Be like, yeah.
Now, okay. So after Party 104.9, now we're getting into what?
From there, that was when Mega 101 had just came out.
What year? Damn, I forgot what.
That was like 2003 or 2 or something like that.
Now, ladies
I
and
think
gentlemen,
2004,
notice we
something
went
like
from.
that. Wait a minute.
It's a whole timeline. It's a whole
That was-
The
timeline.
whole
that was when-
timeline. This is
that
what
was-
we're doing.
that was when they
Mid-80s.
were-
Now we're getting to the 2000s.
We still got another 20 years to go.
Yeah, no shit.
So what's next?
It was with Mega 101 when they were Latino and proud. So I was able to do that station. JC Poppy was working at House Party, and he went to Mega 101. So he was like, dude, because I had I got let go from Party 104.9, and he was like, come on over here, dog. He was like, they ain't gonna say nothing. It was like from 1 month to a couple weeks. I jumped to the next station, went on over there. So I was able to go on from 7 midnight over there at Mega 101 and stuff like that.
But I mean, it was like they. Now I noticed that every place you go, they hit you up, and you got to say it's a blessing, man. Like
It is. I'm very thankful to be doing it for this long, from when I started. Never did I ever think when I'm my younger age that I'd be doing it at this age I am right now.
oh man, hey, you gotta clap it up for that.
And hold on, not only is he still doing it, but he's still holding down one of the top venues, in Houston. Like, Whiskey River, they're not no joke. It's a big place to be at.
We'll get to that. We're gonna get to
It's
that
a blessing,
in a minute.
bro.
We're gonna get to that in a minute. But no, man. I mean, definitely. So, like, dude. I mean, shit. You go from here to here to here. So, how was it going from hip hop? Now you're going back to Latin.
Going to Latin music. So that's another thing that was new to me. You know, I went over there and just kind of like thrown in deep end. You know what I mean?
This was Daddy Yankee, Don Omar,
and I had to speak Spanish, but my Spanish wasn't. And that's when I was like, oh, that's all I got.
Yeah. I'm giving you everything I got.
So
this voice don't project the same.
and that's pretty much how I exited out of Omega 101.
So that era didn't last too long, or
no, it lasted pretty good. It was a good 4-year run. It was a good year, 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years. Shit.
Yeah,
that's a good,
4 years
that's
of being
amount
Latino
time.
and proud. Hell yeah, I don't know what they became after that, but yeah, I was glad I was there for the Latino and proud scene because that was when reggaeton was really blown up from like the beginning. Daddy Yankee. That's when Daddy Yankee was out. Gospel.
So we're talking. Okay, we're talking. Party 104.9, Roxy. We're talking Mega 101. Where were you at in the
King
clubs
Kong.
now?
We're talking about the clubs now. King Kong. King Kong was the one that would always do that. They do what was the one? Barcelonia or something like that. It used to be right there on 59 South in Gessner. That was the. Those were the.
I gotta ask Mike about that one.
Those are some of the clubs that were back in the day. And,
Mike was the one who told me, he was like, "Yeah, man, I remember all these clubs. Throw those at him. Throw those at him."
And then
we'll ask
there,
Mike.
You know, the clubs that I was at before, I was able to get them on board to come over to Mega 101 too, like the Roxy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And being able to still be there, and yeah, from there it was just from Mega 101, and then I just kind of left there. Yeah, I built up a library, and I had to learn the music. Because I had to go to these clubs and play and mix the music also. So I had to learn the salsa music. I had to learn the merengue music. I had to learn the bachata music. This was all new to me. So before I even started DJing in the clubs over there for the Latin music, I was going to all these different clubs and listening to all these DJs. Man, shout out to DJ Salserin, DJ Hollywood, DJ Geraldo. Those dudes, I would sit there and just listen to them and the whole night and be a sponge and just absorb all that music. You know what I mean? And it's just let it stick in my head. And I had to there wasn't no Spotify back in those days, what I mean?
Yeah, you actually got to go out.
You had to go out and try and find a place to listen to that music. So, yeah, and then there I am here. I'm trying to find all this music now and stuff and build a library.
So back then you were doing a lot of homework to be the DJ that you were there. Do you see nowadays the DJs that are coming up? They skip that part? Like, do you think we have it easier because we have the internet and we can literally go grab playlists from anywhere. But do you think because they're not putting in the footwork, the quality of DJs is not there the way it was back then? Like, do you see a difference like that or not really?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, a lot of DJs have a different taste in like whatever another DJ has because they have their own way of finding their own music and their own style.
But I mean more in the sense of like variety and musical selection, because if you're sitting there doing your homework, you're really listening to it.
I mean, you'll hear some DJs stay stuck in because I know DJs that are still playing Latin freestyle music in fucking Northside clubs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They don't want to do nothing else.
You hear him on Saturday.
They don't want to do nothing else than that or in Tejano music. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can that's cool. But
there's still a market for that, right?
It's better to progress and know a lot of different things.
I think we were just talking about this. We were just talking about the kind of like the cook-off scene. Well, I'm going to go a little bit off topic. We were talking about the cook-off scene, right? To where like tents want to hear everything now.
So
it's not just playing Tejano and like old school freestyle.
I recently started doing cook-offs, and I always said no to them for years because I don't know Tejano music at all, and I'm not gonna put myself in one. I don't like it, and I'm not gonna put myself in a position to fail. Right? Yeah. So whenever I got
Is that why you always ask me for those mixes and stuff like that, Joe J?
No, look. So the cook-off team, shout out Second to None. They had been asking me to go play, and I politely declined. I was like, hey, I'm not the right DJ for you. And they were like, no, we want something different. So now, and I'm starting. I don't know if they were the first ones or not. But I'm starting to see a trend with other cook-off teams. They're starting to switch like the flavor of music that they're bringing to the party.
Oh yeah.
So I forgot what well you had brought this up to begin with.
While we're
No,
on
yeah,
cook-offs-
no, it's different.
While we're on the cook-off scene, the only place that I've known that really stuck to the Tejano party tent is Tejas Cookers, and I only say that because back when they first started, when I was working at Kakuka at the time, they came and they teamed up with Kakuka and they said, hey, we want your station to be in our tent. So we sponsored them, and so we were able to always party with them. And that was the first year they started up. They were like, "It's gonna be our first time party, whatever." And that's how I met, the people from Tejas Cookers, Travis and all them. So from then on, I've always had contact with them, and those are the only ones that I know that really you go in there. Or other than Big Bertha, they also stuck to the whole Tejano scenes, and shout out to those cook-off teams that still do.
No, and see, that's what I'm saying. See, so people specifically go to
because
to
those people, even though it's the same bands they've seen already past 6 months here in the city, it's still, everybody wants to be in the tent, waiting a long ass line to get a beer, take about 45 minutes, whatever.
It's the culture, baby. It's a vibe with the cook-off.
It changed now, but
well, it's not just 45 minutes, but anywhere. But that's the cool part about it, and that's where the Tejano thing really stuck in over there.
No, I have seen, like, going back on what heck. That's why I brought it up, because it might be the same, DJs playing, but they're kind of, even the older DJs might be a little scared to change it up a little bit.
You'll probably hear like Boot Scootin' Boogie, the Wobble, Cuba Shuffle, all in a row.
And it's like, dude, if I go out with my parents. Of course, I want to hear it, though. I love the old stuff, but I also just want to hear some new stuff. Like, even for, like, if I go somewhere where I know there's an older DJ DJing, I want to hear something that's up to date, right?
Bro, when I DJ for Los Pistoleros Cookers over there, that was the party.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard about them, but they threw some wild parties.
I think so, yeah. I think
Los
so.
Pistoleros Cookers, shout out to Coconut.
Hey, you were just playing everything.
Yeah, and dude, they were like, yo, they were like, you play country music and Tejano music early, whatever. He was like, but once they pick them tables up,
let's go. Yeah. So, okay, now this brings it to the next topic, which I always love talking about, right? We talked about it a lot last time. What is your take on a DJ being open format or having those crates? What's your take on that?
If the variety is in the room, give it to them. It's really. It all depends. Also, what the people that are hiring you, what do they want? You know what I mean? If they want you to go in and be an open format DJ, then be an open format DJ. But if they're they want a certain vibe, at least try and give that vibe strictly. But it's good to be an open format DJ. Sometimes I like, even right now I'll pull out some old Dusties over at Whiskey River because I already know all the white girls, they love that shit. So I pull that shit out and then boom, I already know. That's it. As long as you get it to them.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Talking about Whiskey River. So that, like I said, you've been in the Tejano scene, the hip hop scene. You've kind of done a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Dipping into the whole Whiskey River era that you're still in right now. Yeah. Was that a whole learning curve too, that you had to flip and learn that, or did you already know it from a little bit of the whole Tejano thing? Because I know Tejano country kind of goes hand in hand sometimes.
I kind of call this era of me going into the country scene the last frontier, bro. I played all other formats of music, country music.
I need to put it like an AI picture of Jammin J, the last frontier.
Exclusive. I've DJ'd all the different sounds of music for parties and stuff like that. But country music, I've listened to it, from when I was a kid, and I just never DJ'd a full country club and known what that was like. So. Again,
I'm pretty like when I saw you there, I was like,
when the door opened, I had to go in there and listen and feel the flow, the vibe, the way everything ran. You know what I mean? I had to figure it out. I didn't know nothing about a waltz. I didn't know nothing about a two-step. I didn't know nothing about a triple step. I didn't know nothing about a jitterbug. The line dances. I didn't know about some of these line dance songs that they're doing now.
It's like random songs and it's a line dance.
So, but so you just broke down a bunch of like subgenres when it comes to country. Is there a formula to it compared to like playing a regular club?
Formula, and I try to educate people on the country format because, bro, if hip hop and it's going to become so saturated, the whole hip hop and the dance, there's going to be so many DJs coming out the bedroom, and there's going to be a whole lot of DJs coming out, and then you're going to be kind of left out. You're going to try and fit in somewhere or get in somewhere, expand, and I'm thankful that they opened that door for me to go into the country because I figured it all out. What I did was, thanks to technology, going back and through all the playlists that were inside that Serato program from when they started that club, bro, I downloaded every history file of the playlist.
Dang, you did a lot of homework.
And it was homework, bro. It was homework. Looking at it, playing those songs, listening to it, figuring it out. Okay, this is what a two-step is. Okay, this is what a triple step is.
But with country music, do you all guys let it ride out at the country clubs?
The best thing about country music is letting the damn song
because
play.
they actually dance to it, right? Like,
let it play.
Yeah, let it play.
That's the best thing.
It's the same thing. Like, well,
it's a dancing thing, when I first started in the country club, I thought it was cool to mix the country songs and whatnot. Is that the time to go? But I would mix the country songs, and the people would come up and be like, "Can you not do that?" They would speak up on it. So these were the people that go to dance.
Like meaning like you were cutting it too fast.
Well, I mean, I was just going through, making the song flow and whatnot. So. That I figured that out. I was like, okay, cool. I let the song play, but then I was going in just to play like my favorite songs, all my favorite country songs that I knew.
Yeah,
I would go in out there like,
I'm sure it was an adjustment.
You're playing too many polkas. Stop playing too many polkas. We want to hear some two steps. And I was like, okay, I'll get it.
So is it like 2 or 3 of this? Move over to 2 or 3 of this,
bro? I'm telling you, it's a formula.
I mean, you don't got to give away the sauce, but
have a class to sit down and teach people.
I guess that's
yeah. Because anybody would say. Look, I put it like this, right? Whiskey River. When I was going there when I was 21, which was 12 years ago.
Yeah,
I wanted to. This was one of the places that I would DJ at, but you can't like country and know country songs and think you could just go in and.
Bro, like I said, I was in the country. I just dove in, and I was hitting up every Spotify playlist that had country music and listened to it, getting familiar back with those records that I remember, but they're still timeless classics, you know what I mean?
Oh, so for sure.
Just going back and doing all that, and when I went into Whiskey River, that's what I wanted. I really was hoping that, the guy that was teaching me would, explain a little bit more, but he was like, oh no, just do this, do this, do this, do this. Didn't say two-step or whatever, but I figured that out on my own. So I'm thankful that I figured it out because I think if I didn't figure it out, I'd probably be out of a job right now.
That's probably the best thing, though.
Yeah.
I mean, not to get out of a job, but
you're
kind of figure it out.
He did tell me, he was like, there's an ACM format, and that's just a certain way of playing country music for the dance floor people.
What is that?
An ACM format? It's like the American country music format. It's just a certain way of playing the country music because, I mean, yeah, anybody can go in and play all their favorite country songs, but the people really going to dance, they'll be like, tone it down, or play something slower. Yeah, because I like the country music that's all rocking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
so
country instruments, everything.
Yeah.
Like that.
So I mean, I figured it out, and yeah, I've been doing it for about 7 years now.
Well, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I was gonna bring up how the fuck did you get into whiskey? Like, where were you working at to get into that? What?
Oh, well, before whiskey, I was over at Diablo Loco, and they are the same owners.
The wings hit.
They're the same owners
we're getting
of
in
Whiskey River. So I was fortunate enough that when Diablo Loco was gonna go away, they pulled me. They said, like, hey, come over here and start figuring out this country music thing. So I was like, I went over there and. Cold feet, bro.
Like you said, opportunity presents itself.
I had to go in and figure it out. So, yeah, that's how that began.
Didn't you do Drink Houston, too?
I did Drink Houston also. Those were good days. Yeah,
that's around the same era.
You didn't know.
So, funny story. Like I said, I grew up listening to Jay, right? So, you know, whenever I met him, I think it was my 21st birthday, but it was a funny story because, so we have the same birthday. So, you know, our boss at the time, he said, hey, you know what? He was going to give him a surprise that I was going to go in and relieve him for Sunday Fun Day so he could enjoy his birthday. Come to find out, they're like, oh, it's his birthday too, talking about me. And then on top of that, it was my 21st birthday. So he said, nah, you're not working either. They called somebody else. And I just remember, man, Todd got me. That was like the worst blackout I've ever had. And he was like, welcome to 21, baby. Horrible.
Yeah, that was a good time. I remember that. And I remember you too. I was like, is his birthday too? No shit. Yeah, and then we all got toasted. Yeah, that was a good time.
That was a good 10 years ago. Actually, 10 years ago this year.
Really?
What room were y'all playing in?
Because this was at Diablo.
This is at Diablo.
Oh, this was at Diablo. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So funny story. Well, maybe I can't say this one, but you know, I can say it now. I can say it now. So this is back at Drink Houston. I was doing the Thursday nights, and I was 20 years old. I had barely started drinking. I was a late bloomer, and I remember, you know, management, they see me take a couple of shots and they're kind of confused. They literally pulled me out the booth and they're like, hey, come here real quick. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, what happened? He's like, how old are you? I was like, you know, I'm 20. He's like, well, you know, you have to be 21 to drink. And I was like, but I was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks shy away from being 21. So he's like, look, man, just do me a favor. Just don't drink. He's like, after your birthday, go crazy. He's like, I've been in your shoes before. I get it. So I was like, you know what? But that was one of those that it was, you know, I was hungry at the time. I was trying to climb the ladder in this industry, and I wasn't going to let something silly as alcohol ruin that opportunity for me, because that was a stepping stone in my career at one point. So I was like, man, that ain't even worth it. But after I hit 21, it was game over.
Yeah, that was good times.
Damn,
that was a long
That's
time.
some
Man, I
history
knew you
right
that
there.
long. That's crazy.
Yeah, right.
I love a little good history with bridging that gap with how old the heck is, and, you know.
Hold on. I'm still the youngest one in this room.
No, that's another thing that I wanted to bring up too. How is bridging that gap, Jay? Like, cause you got, which, as long as you've been doing this, right? As long as you've been doing this, how is like bridging that gap with? Did you ever be like, oh, well, shit, there's these new DJs coming up, like, you know, how was just bridging that gap from what you've been doing to what's going on?
Let me tell you, dog. There have been times where people tried to count me out throughout my years of DJing. I didn't never give up, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't never give up. I had to face obstacles where I couldn't get into a place because somebody was a promoter or whatever, you know. So I mean, there were times where I couldn't, you know, get work anywhere in the downtown clubs or whatever, only simply for that fact. So I just kind of, you know, I went and did my thing elsewhere. You know what I mean? I didn't need to be in downtown scene. I just moved around, kept going, dog.
Was that transition whenever clubs were going bottle service?
Yeah, I mean, at
It
that
was like
time,
they were
you
going
know,
more bottles.
and this was probably during a period when I wasn't. This was in between radio stations and stuff like that. When I wasn't doing radio or whatever. When I was doing it, so I had to go out and try and find stuff. And then that's when I went back to the basics, bro. I went back to the neighborhood bars, bro. Did Buffalo Fred's. You know, that was the joint back
Buffalo
in the day
Fred's
too.
is tequilas. No.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, it's what
On
it's called.
Shepherd?
Yeah, on
Yeah.
Shepherd. So
I used to go
did that
shoot pool
place.
over there with my parents.
That was before Diablo Loco. So I did that place for about a good 4 or 5 years also. So I mean, like I said, I just had to go back to the basics and just keep going, find other things to do, and just keep the.
But you didn't just stop.
No, I didn't.
But at the same time, too, it almost seems like you were always kind of ahead of the curve, meaning like you saw the next trend happening and you made way that way, and you were kind of just like, all right, cool, this is what we're doing now, and then you attack that scene and own that scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, kind of $1 million question here, actually 2-part question, is where do you see the industry going? I don't know, within the next 5 to 7 years.
It's gonna get bigger, bro. I mean, a lot of things are happening. I just think with all the technology that's out now, everybody's gonna. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of different places that are just gonna come out and be different than the ones you've seen before. Yeah, I think. I mean, like the clubs that I've seen, I just walked through one to get in here. You know what I mean? I've never walked in a club where it's looking like Vegas in here. You know what I mean?
Did you see the airplane in there?
So,
Wow.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Shout out Medellin.
All right. And by the way, this is the only podcast I've ever been on where you get searched to get in this motherfucker. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it's definitely gonna get better. I mean, the competition's out there. You know, it's big.
Well, like I said, this was a 2-part question. So the second part is kind of where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 7 years? Are you still at whiskey, or what's the next trend that you're going to move to?
You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna just ride it like a rhinestone cowboy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm
Cue the song.
I'm gonna enjoy this right now because I get to, it's actually country music. It's a different feeling you going in and playing that.
It really is. It really is.
Because you get to set the tone in the room. With everything you choose and whatnot, and then you get to party. You get to turn up. Same thing. You get a few minutes of some turn up, and then you go back to the get my bubble shined up here. I'm gonna get close to somebody.
I see the format that you have whenever I go.
Like, I don't know if you ever done this inside the party. Like, you ain't never slow things down, put a slow jam in the middle of the night.
Right.
Yeah, never. Right.
I have.
So, being at a country club, I can play a jam where I can at least get close to somebody. And
Look, I love and hate DJing with Legacy because he'll play some off the wall shit, and sometimes I'm like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming. And then other times I'm like, oh shit, he played that.
No, the other day I played. What did I play? I was up here, right? And then I came down and I just dropped from the very start of "Wishing on a Star." I'm wishing on it. Yeah. He was like, "Hey, bro, we're trying to keep him here, not make him leave." I was like, "Just watch, bro. Hold on.
Listen."
I was like, "Why?"
I was trying to trust the vision. There was a part of me that was just like, I don't know, brother.
Most of the times, though,
you were like, okay, where is this one going?
Jay, most of the times, either on a Wednesday or a Saturday, I'm going before him.
Yeah. So I'm always playing after him. So I'm like, can you at least, set me up? Like, I mean, I don't want to have to break down, flip the room, all that. Like,
now, Jay, we only got a couple of minutes left. I was gonna say this is,
and there's still a whole lot more to talk about.
Oh, for sure. No, we're doing part 2s on episode 1, and then we're doing episode 1.5 and episode 2.5. But I was gonna say, how was that transition? Did you get any drawback from doing? Because I know whiskey, right? I know whiskey. It used to be nothing but country. Won't touch on the old whiskey, but how was that transition with now you're doing a Latin night? Now I see Whiskey West doing a Latin night. How was that transition? Did they give you any drawback? You went full on with the Latin on Sundays.
I was basically I went in there and did everything that I know how to do as far as all the genres of the Latin music, the salsa, the merengue, the bachata, cumbias, the norteños. The norteños, that's another thing, bro. I mean, I had to go in there and learn them norteños because that's the hot shit right now. Yeah, all the norteño shit. And yeah, dude. I mean, so I had to go and do my homework on that and just see what's popping,
And it took because you had me and Noel. They're the first 2 ones.
All right.
And nobody kind of really understood. Oh, are they really doing Latin? And then I saw it growing and growing and growing. And dude, now over there, shit, it's fucking packed on Sundays.
Yeah, it's the spot now on Sundays.
It's packed on Sundays at Whiskey River North.
It is. Yeah, check that out. Latin Night Sunday.
Nah.
It's a whole nother level now from when we started. I see a lot of different people every week that come out to party.
I see a lot of people over there. I'm like, Jesus Christ! It's an older crowd. It's a young, like I said.
And you gotta get there early, because you don't want to be standing outside the line.
Shit,
I'll just call you if I'm outside.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I won't be that guy.
Well, no, I feel like it's a nostalgic thing too, because, like I said, I love going out with my parents. So like, if I go to a place and they're playing this, I want to go because I want to enjoy it with my parents.
I get to do the same thing. I get to pull out all those timeless classics that you won't get to hear anywhere else, and play along with the new stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah. And now,
well, I know you said we don't have too much time left, but obviously you've had a super successful career, still going strong. Is there anything, kind of looking back from 85 till 2025? Do you wish there was anything that you would have did different or took a different route at one point, or kind of just bottom line? Is there anything you wish you would have did different?
Oh man!
Or are you glad how everything just?
I don't know. I'm glad how everything fell through, and it just kind of, being at the right place at the right time, and running into the right people, and making connection with those people, and just making friendships, and not just trying to be in places, but at least growing with people, and you seeing from what I've come from to what I was able to do, as far as being a Houston DJ, actually being able to go on the radio and be on for a good 18 years on the air, and still to continue to do it afterwards. So I'm very thankful for that. And shout out to everybody.
That's a big accomplishment, and that's a big run, man. There's people that only dream to do things like that. You know what I mean?
It's definitely something that somebody will sit back, man. I want to do this. I want to do that. Get out there and do it, man. You gotta network.
Take those opportunities.
And find the get yourself out there and connect with the right people.
Not only that, but like if a younger DJ that's watching this, one thing to take away, if anything, is, I mean, this guy's been in the game a long time, and he's still doing homework to go to the next level. So you should always be studying, try to get better, learn the room that you're going to play. Whatever room you want to play, hang out in that room for a little bit, shake some hands, learn the format, all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's good to know. I mean, even any chance that I get on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I got to get out too and come hang out with you guys and just see what y'all kind of the vibe is over in different parts of the town and stuff like that, because I need to make sure I stay fresh and continue to stay updated on everything like that.
You got to, man. You got to.
All them TikTok trends and shit.
I see you do the TikToks and everything. Now, all right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. As you know, this is living your legacy, right? So the last question I always like to leave off with is, you're a family man, right? You do.
Yes, sir.
You've been doing all this for what? How many years? 30?
Been doing this for 40 years.
40
now.
years.
DJing for
40 years, right?
Yes.
So the whole thing about living your legacy, right? What is something that you would just say to yourself, right? If you had a diary right now that you would write in, that's something that you want to leave behind, that you accomplished all this, you did all this within the past years that you've been doing this as your career. What's something that you want to leave behind to be known for?
Man, that's a hard question.
I know. I choked up Omix last episode.
Yeah. Man.
Speak from the heart.
Man, what can I say? Just really, I mean, don't stop, really. I mean, because I know there was plenty of times where I could have stopped, but I still kept going. Shout out to I'm gonna say the moms of my kids, and especially my wife, because doing this for this long, the time that I'm away from them. I get to make up for it on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but still not enough. You know what I mean? I wish,
No, dude, it's almost like a sacrifice.
I just want to shout them out for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's good to have the support like that. Especially if you're going to be in a relationship with kids and stuff like that. Great for them.
I love that, man. And you know what? And that's what we do it for, guys.
I think as fathers, we can both relate to exactly what you just said. Right. So I felt that too.
We can all relate on that. And you know what? Our families keep on pushing us. And like I said, this is why I love doing this podcast. This is why I bring on the people that I bring on, is because we can all relate to somewhat. Like, look, dude, like I said, you're like the bridge between me and you, between you and him, between you and our viewers is like, okay, right? It's different times in a different era, but we all are people and we all go through the same thing. And we're all trying to just, survive and just leave something. If you're not doing something that you love and you're not doing something that, if you're not working for something that you want to leave as your legacy, then what the fuck are you doing this for? Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I'm glad now that I can make that impact on people with the country music now.
Dude, that's why
that's a whole.
Not only on the country music, but like that's why I brought you on.
Somebody's probably saying, "Why does he keep talking about country music?" But
Whiskey River, Jamie Freakin J.
Thanks for having me,
ladies and gentlemen. Once again, man, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Jammin J. Once again, I appreciate you coming on this podcast. It's been something that I've been wanting to do, something that I've had questions in my head that I've been wanting to ask you. We couldn't get to everything, but we did it.
Do it again.
Right? We're here. We did it. Hopefully some of our viewers at home understand now, like a pioneer, a legend, a staple in the game. Jamie Freakin J, DJ Heck, a great co-host. Like I said.
And thanks for bringing me back, man. It was always a good time here.
So, guys, we're going to end up wrapping it up. Once again, make some noise for Jammin J, Jammin Freakin J. Ladies and gentlemen, we're out. We'll see you on the next podcast, guys. We're out.
Remember, 40 years. I've been doing it. Jamming forever.
We're gonna do an anniversary episode.
Man, that voice don't get
We're
old.
gonna do another. I know that voice don't get old. We didn't even touch on the voice, but we'll talk about that on the next one, guys. We'll see y'all later.
Live your legacy.
He just keeps on talking.